Hello everybody, this is a quick screencast to demonstrate some functions of GraphQL. I'm specifically going to demonstrate the problem of overfetching and underfetching. So this demonstration is based on an example that I've built. You can get the source code from my GitHub account. It's a little application called Membership. It tells you how to get it running on your own machine. You can also play around with it. It's deployed onto an online demo. So if you go there, it will just show you the demo. It's a very basic application to show this problem, where we have a membership service that has some members, memberships, and a membership as a person, and the membership service then expose the way to query and change the membership via JAX-RS. And then later we'll add a GraphQL API on top of that as well. So it also uses OpenAPI, a MicroProfile OpenAPI, to describe the REST endpoints. And if you click here, you can see the OpenAPI document. And very similar to OpenAPI, MicroProfile OpenAPI, GraphQL contains a schema. The only difference is that it's not separate, it's built into the actual endpoint that you build. So you don't have to have JAX-RS plus OpenAPI. GraphQL has a built-in schema, and if you click on that, you'll see the schema has been generated. So this demo also contains Swagger UI, just to show you what we're going to do. So as an example, we're going to make a call to get all the memberships. Now, you might be some consumer that only want to show the guy's name and surname, which means you only need these fields here, but when you query, you get this whole membership object back. And that's called overfetching, meaning you fetch more fields than what you really need. Now this is a very small example. Obviously in production I've seen REST endpoints that has 70 plus fields, and if you only want one field, it's quite a lot of data that you have to stream over the wire and parse on the client side to just filter out everything and get what you want. That might not be an issue if it's a server-to-server call on the same local network, but if it's the mobile app that makes this communication over some 3G network, it really does become an issue. So one of the things that you can do is treat this as a resource on its own. So the person object, so something like this, where you can say, well, there you can get the person, which is then a bit smaller, and then this object here you change to say that when you specify the owner, rather have a URI towards where you can actually get that person. But it does mean that if you query by membership ID, you would now have the membership ID and then another URI, which means you need to make another call to get the information that you want, and that's called underfetching. So it means that my initial call didn't fetch everything that I needed. I had to make another one or more calls to get the data that I want. And then in this case, the second call actually is doing some overfetching, because it's fetching data like that and that I didn't want, and I still have to filter out to get the details that I want. Now again, this is a very small example, but imagine a REST endpoint that returns 70 plus fields. So the way to solve it in GraphQL is that GraphQL has a built-in way to actually do this. So if you use GraphQL, which is really the same as Swagger UI, it's just a small UI on top of your schema, you can now do something like membership, and we want to do where the ID is 1, and then we want to get back the owner, names and surname. So I can ask exactly the information that I want, and I only get that back. So what happens a lot of the times is that, especially when you have quite a lot of consumers, a consumer has this very specific need. So a mobile app might say, well, I just want to display the guy's name, or I just want the guy's surname. Now, and I don't want to filter out everything, so what you can do is you can go and build a specific method just for that guy. So something like this, where you say, oh, but I can expose this, and then I can just give you the surname, and that will work. So going back here, you can do something like this, and I can say, well, just get me that guy's surname, and you get the guy's surname. However, this is not really sustainable, because the more consumers you get with their own requirements, the more code you have to change to kind of massage it correctly for them, and that's where the problem comes in. One of the solutions that I've seen people do is what's called a BFF, or backend for front end, where you write a specific backend for that specific front end to do exactly that. The other option is to build query parameters into a REST call, where you can somehow ask the response to filter specific details out on. And it was actually exactly at that point where I started searching for some alternative, because it became messy. And that's where GraphQL is perfect for something like that. So that's a very short demo that I just wanted to show two of the things that GraphQL solved. There's a whole bunch of examples that you can run through. So you can take any of these and just copy and paste it into the GraphQL front end, which is where now, right? And then you can play around with it, and it goes through all the functions. It goes through fragments and mutations and all sorts of things. You can also get the source code, like I've shown. You can see the online demonstration, but more importantly, you can look at the MicroProfile proposal, and if you like what you see, please take part, look at the proposal. There's quite a lot of ideas that's in there. So the way in which you would do something that I've just shown you is you would just annotate a method and say this is the query, and it will become queryable, the character object. So have a look at it, and let us know what you think. Thank you.